If somebody has the nature of loving by making you a cup of coffee every single day, then they're gonna do that. But if they have a toolbox that says how to make someone fall in love with me, that toolbox only has tools that last 6 months or a year or however long it is that it takes them to get somebody to fall in love with them, you will know when that toolbox's job has ended, because the consistency will be gone. The person they showed you they were at the beginning is no longer there. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Beyond Words with me, Nejwa Zabian. I've always been a firm believer in the power of words to heal what they didn't break and to break what they had no right in breaking. And today's episode comes as a request from one of my Substack subscribers, and it's titled, When Love Feels Like Danger. So many of us reject love not because we don't want to be loved, not because we don't want to receive love or feel loved, but because we've been taught over the years that love is the same place where the pain enters. So if you open yourself up to love, there's danger coming your way. So you would rather reject that love altogether because you're trying to protect yourself from the pain that you experienced in the past when you did allow love to enter. Your nervous system experiences it as a threat when really it's the most beautiful thing that could actually help your nervous system heal and learn how to regulate differently. But you mistake love for pain and you say, I never want to feel pain again, so I'm going to shut this love out. If these words resonate with you, I want you to stop judging yourself and remember this. Your body isn't broken. Your body is loyal to the version of you that was broken in the past. Your body is loyal to the version of you that learned how to survive in the past. You're not broken and nothing is wrong with you. There is something wrong with the way that you learned to expect something really bad to come out of love. You were vulnerable with someone. They ended up using all your weaknesses against you. You opened up to someone. They ended up closing the door in your face in a way that was so earth-shattering for you. You allowed yourself to tell them about yourself and your triggers and your fears and your past and everything you want for your future, and they ended up backstabbing you in a way that you never imagined. They ended up belittling your dreams. They ended up being a person in your face that they were completely different behind your face. You opened up to them. You allowed them into your inner world, to the way you think, to the way you feel, to the way you're sensitive, to the way that you're so gentle, to the way that you're so soft, and they ended up using all of that against you. You expressed your needs to someone, and they ended up making you feel like you're too needy. They ended up making you feel like you're too much. They ended up making you feel like, who do you think you are to expect all of this out of me? So every single time that you opened yourself up in any way about your needs, about your wants, about who you truly are at your core, you ended up receiving a backlash that punished you for being who you are, and that punished you for having needs and for expressing your needs and for expressing yourself, your thoughts, the way that your mind works, the way that your heart works. You were punished for all of that. So your nervous system has learned over time to associate vulnerability, opening up, expressing your thoughts and feelings, expressing your needs and wants with danger. If I do these things, I'm going to be in danger of abandonment, to belittling, to criticism, to being made to feel like something is wrong with you, to being made to feel like you're a burden, being made to feel like the best thing that you can do is disappear or become less or not exist. How many of us, you are definitely going to resonate with this. How many times in your life did you find yourself telling someone that you deeply care about or someone that you deeply love, I don't want to be a burden in your life. I will no longer add pressure to your life. Or I'm sorry for adding stress to your life. If you've said something like that to someone that you love or deeply care about, chances are that person has made you feel like your mere existence is too much for them. And so you end up apologizing. And what happens in moments when you decide to tell someone, I'm sorry for being a burden, or I don't want to add pressure to your life, or maybe I was too much in this moment, is that you also internalize a message that says, I brought this upon myself by expressing myself, by being myself, by trying to be helpful and loving. I brought this upon myself. So you know what? I'm never going to do that again. Your body learns to protect itself from moments where when it thought it felt safe with someone, and when it thought it felt safe receiving love from someone, it got a slap in the face that said, you're not safe here. What you thought was a safe place for you to land your feelings, your thoughts, your essence, the core of who you are, now it turned from safety to danger. And so you learned to not even step into that space anymore. And you learned to look at what looks like safety as that's an illusion. It can't be real. Because in the past, I thought it was safe for me to step into that place where I'm receiving love from someone. And then out of the blue, it turned out to be the complete opposite. It's like you step into a place that's warm and cozy, and there's flowers all around, and there's things that are meant to make you feel comfortable, and things that are meant to make you feel like you're welcome. And then all of a sudden, it turns into a cold place. Everything that was there that was meant to help you feel safe, warm, and cozy was just ripped from under you, and you're sitting there confused. Like, how did this place that I thought was so safe turn into something completely different? So you learn to not only carry the responsibility of keeping a place that began as safe. This is Mila in the background chewing, by the way. But you've also learned that your own judgment is not sound. You learn to not trust your instincts. You learn that what you see isn't actually what you see. So when somebody comes into your life and they're offering you this beautiful version of love, this safe version of love, this healthy version of love, you look at that and you say, that can't be real because I thought it was real in the past. So I'm going to push it away because even if it's real right now, it's going to turn into something very, very dangerous. So I would rather not step in altogether to protect myself. It's kind of like, if I can give you another visual, walking down a path in the forest, and there's trees all around, and there's greenery, and everything seems like it's so good, and it's so healthy for you. The air is fresh, and you just feel like you're rejuvenated walking through it. And then all of a sudden, there's trees with no leaves, there's rain coming down, it's cold, it's muddy, there's maybe vicious animals that come out of nowhere. You start stepping on thorns and shattered pieces of glass. And so the next time you come across a path that looks exactly the same. There's green trees and there's birds chirping and there's this beautiful view, and I can just tell that everything just smells so beautifully and it's going to be refreshing for me. You remember that other path that you took that began the same way, and you say, but at the end of that path, there were things that were just really unpleasant and that really hurt me. And I had to come all the way back around, and I had to get the glass out of my shoes and the thorns out of my clothes, and I needed to clean myself up from that storm, and I needed to, and I felt like I went back with my life. So when this new path presents itself and it looks exactly the way that the other one looked in the past, you say, I'm not even going to take 10 steps forward because I know the ending of that. There's a song I love by Bon Iver and Taylor Swift where there's a line that says, I think I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending. I think I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending. And then there's another part in the song where they say, I think I've seen this film before, so I'm leaving out the side door. As in, I'm going to leave without leaving a trace, without making a big deal, without causing a problem, without making it this huge thing that I'm leaving. I'm just going to leave out swiftly, calmly, quietly, because I know where this is headed. And I'm getting goosebumps as I'm saying this because I can tell you that if you have been following my work for any number of years, you know this moment that I always talk about. I've written about it. I've talked about it. The worst moment for me, the scariest moment for me, is when someone has a shift in their energy that in that split second, I can tell, I can feel it in my soul that they've checked out. It's the toughest in romance, but it's also tough with friends. It's also tough with people that you trust. But you know that moment when that person says something, they do something, they give a certain look towards you or towards somebody else, or you just notice something changed. What we had is never going to be the same again. For me, that's the scariest moment. And the best way to describe it is something from inside of me says, I knew this was coming. Like, even though I accepted your love into my life, even though I allowed you into my space, into my vulnerability, into my just my little world, I let you into it. And I knew, like, something from the beginning told me, be careful. You know, we've seen this film before. We've seen how this unfolds. And every time they assure you that nothing's ever going to change, every time they assure you that they're always going to love you this way, every time they assure you that this is the best thing that's ever happened to them and they're so happy that they met you and that they're with you, there's that little voice that tells you, but I've heard this before. And things did change. And I'm really scared. But because you want that love so badly and you revel in it so much and you've enjoyed it so much, you tell yourself, let me give it one more shot. Let me give it one more chance. This feels different. So you shut that voice up that's telling you, be careful. Remember what happened last time when you opened up to someone. Remember what happened last time when you allowed somebody to love you. Stay safe. You're better off not even allowing that person into your life. You shut that voice up, and then that moment comes when you feel it in your bones that something changed. That voice comes up again and says, I told you so. We knew this was coming. Like, I knew I didn't deserve that kind of love. What was I thinking? So you start blaming yourself for someone else changing. You end up blaming yourself for believing someone's lies. You end up blaming yourself for believing someone's character is what they showed you it was. You end up blaming yourself for someone choosing to go back on a promise they made you. Why is it your fault? They were the ones pretending. They were the ones putting on a show. They were the ones telling you things that you had no reason to think were lies. Why? Because you tell the truth. Because you're honest. Because you mean the things you say. Because when you make a promise, you make sure that that promise becomes true. And if it doesn't, that you communicate that you're not able to. So you expect the same out of other people. And part of your healing, part of learning that love doesn't equal danger, is teaching yourself how to love yourself properly. It's teaching yourself how to differentiate between what's actually your fault and what's someone else's fault. Part of your healing is sitting with yourself in the moments when somebody reveals their true ugly colors right in front of you and saying to yourself, I don't regret believing them. I did the right thing. They're the ones who chose to lie to me. I don't regret believing that they loved me. I think that's a beautiful part of me that's trying to accept the most beautiful thing on earth. They are the ones who decided to put on a show that looked like love, that felt like love, that sounded like love, but it was manipulation in disguise. It was their hidden agenda that said, I'm going to get this person to a point where they trust me so much, where they love me so much, where they care for me so much that if I ask them for anything, they will get it for me. Part of healing yourself and your nervous system that tells you love equals danger is in moments when someone that has convinced you that they love you, that they'll never hurt you, that they'll never, ever, ever go back on you, that they'll never betray you, is to sit with yourself and say, I don't blame myself for trusting them. I did the right thing. They're the ones who chose to stab a knife in my back. They're the ones who chose to keep twisting that knife. They're the ones who chose to put on a mask that showed me that they were someone they're not. They're the ones who chose those things. That's not my responsibility. But when you carry the responsibility of their change, their betrayal, their manipulation, their gaslighting, and you say it was my fault that I stepped into that in the first place, you are reinforcing the belief that says love equals danger. You're reinforcing the belief that says everything that happens to me in my life is my fault and is my responsibility. You reinforce the belief that says I carry 100% of the responsibility for the way that the relationships in my life go, when that's not the truth. Because every relationship has two people. You chose to trust someone, that's beautiful. They chose to betray your trust, to backstab you, to talk badly about you behind your back, to tarnish your image. That's on them. You could have never seen that coming. You could have never been able to say, based on the way that they were with you, that that's how they were going to turn out to be. So why would you blame yourself? You did something, you trusted them, they did the complete opposite in return, but you end up blaming yourself for having the ability to trust. So you end up taking the way they treated you as a reason to further mistreat yourself. That's not fair. So your nervous system learns to always be on edge, to always be closed off. Because not only is it scared that someone else is going to hurt you, it's scared that you are going to hurt you as a result as well. It's scared that you're going to be hard on yourself. It's scared that you're going to sit there in shame and say, this was all my fault. And nervous system, you were supposed to protect me. Where were you? Why didn't you tell me that danger was coming up? So your nervous system is going to try really, really hard to stop you every time you are tempted to open up to someone, every time you are tempted to allow love in, every time you are tempted to accept good things from people, every time you are tempted to let somebody into your world, to let somebody into your presence. Love is not danger. And there's nothing wrong with you to have learnt that lesson over the years. But now it is fully your responsibility to start giving your nervous system the safety that it needs, to start bit by bit, allowing love in and speaking to the fear that's telling you, stop, this is going to hurt. You don't overcome your fear of being hurt by just pretending like the fear isn't there, by overriding that fear. That's really dangerous advice, because there's so many people out there who will tell you, like, do it scared and do it anxious and do it. And I understand the message behind that. It's meant to be empowering. But when it comes to this kind of fear of allowing love in, of allowing people close enough to us where they could hurt us, and oh my God, like I'm getting goosebumps all over just talking about this, because it's honestly so close to me. Like, please understand that everything I'm talking about is something I experienced in my life. And I get the hardship of saying to yourself, this love feels so good, but I'm terrified. Because the last time I felt that good, I ended up being hurt in such a way that I never, ever, ever want to experience that pain again. But the only way to allow the right kind of love into your life is to risk that love not being the right one for you. You can't know. You can't get into a relationship with someone and from day one know, this is a good person for me. Time shows you if they actually are who they've demonstrated that they are. Time shows you if they actually will deliver on their promises. Time shows you whether they are an honest person. Their consistency with the way they show up for you, not the intensity in which they show up for you, the consistency in which they show up for you will show you whether that person is right for you or not. This is a very simple example, but if somebody at the beginning of your relationship was making you a coffee every single morning, and then 4 or 5 months in, they completely stop, that consistency is gone. And this is not about coffee. This is about love. This is about the way that they put in the effort to make you feel loved. It's about the way that they show you that they are a person who does things not just so that they could get you to love them in return and so that they could capture you. And once they have you, they stop trying at all. They stop doing anything that they used to do in the past. If somebody has the nature of loving by making you a cup of coffee every single day, then they're going to do that. Whether you're still in the early stages of falling in love or in the later stages, because that's who they are. But if they have a toolbox that says how to make someone fall in love with me, that toolbox only has tools that last 6 months or a year or however long it is that it takes them to get somebody to fall in love with them, you will know when that toolbox's job has ended, because the consistency will be gone. The person they showed you they were at the beginning is no longer there. Give yourself permission to take things one step at a time. Don't go into a relationship and say, I trust you 100% right from the beginning. Learn that trust is built over time. Learn that your nervous system that has learned over the years to equate love with danger needs to see evidence. Not in general, but in the everyday little things with this person that, oh, it's safe to trust you. So I will trust you a little bit more, and I will trust you again. But also learn to not let your need for love or your fear that that love is going to go away to make you overlook the moments that tell you this person is not trustworthy. This space is not a safe space for me to trust this person. When you are learning to accept love, that's a conscious choice. That's not like a passive choice that you make like a person sitting in the passenger seat of the car of your life or in the back seat saying, you know what, I'll let this love in, but I hope I make it to the other side. I'm driving this car, but I'm closing my eyes because I'm just hoping I make it to the other side. It's conscious, it's aware, it's careful. It stops and pauses when it needs to. It takes time to learn about this person that you're allowing into your life. Because when you come out of survival from a love in the past that was so dangerous, and you're living through survival, it's really, really, really difficult to take the time to just be conscious of what's going on around you. You're in a space where you obviously need love. We all do. You obviously, and when I say love, I mean you need to feel like someone sees you for who you are, that someone accepts you for who you are, that someone just gets you and understands you. We all have that need. But when you're in survival, because that love in the past that you accepted and allowed in was so dangerous for you, you develop what we call fear of intimacy. But it's not fear of intimacy because you actually don't want intimacy. It's fear of repetition. It's fear that what happened in the past is going to happen again. So somebody tries to get close to you, please don't, because I'm so scared that the pain from the past is going to come again. I'm scared that if I let you close enough to me, that you will hurt me the same way that someone else did in the past. I'm scared that if I let you close enough to me, I'm going to feel for you a certain way that will end up breaking me if you're no longer there. So what you think is fear of intimacy isn't fear of intimacy. You're not afraid of the actual closeness. You want that. You need that. You're afraid of what that intimacy has shown you in the past was the actual result. So your fear isn't of intimacy, it's of repetition. And what's the best way to not repeat something? It's to not take the exact same path, because you're going to end up at the same result. If the path you took in the past meant that you put blindfolds on so that every time there was a red flag, a red light, a yellow light that told you pause, slow down, you just didn't see anything because you were so blinded by the love that they had to offer you, the big gestures they made, the promises they made. You focused too much on their words. You focused too much on their potential, the hope that you had for that relationship. If you don't want that path to be repeated, take your blindfolds off. Drive the love life car of your own life and keep your eyes wide open. And when it rains, make sure that you have your wipers on. If you're driving through the dark, make sure you turn your lights on. If you're driving and there's a red light, make sure you stop. That's a different path that you're taking. The one you took the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time, you drove through red lights. You put yourself through the danger of a crash. You drove in the darkness without any lights on, hoping that you're going to make it to your destination. You heal your nervous system by learning to listen to it and trust it when it tells you full stop, slow down, but also when it tells you full stop, just out of fear, you sit with it and you have a conversation. You don't say, I don't have time for you because you always tell me to not accept love. You always tell me to not allow people in. You always tell me everybody's going to betray me. You don't do that. You sit with it. Ask it what its fears are. Ask it what it's trying to protect you from. I've said this before and I'll say it again, and it's in Welcome Home. When pain knocks on your door, let it in. Have tea with it. Sit with it. Let it explain to you, what is it trying to protect you from? What is it trying to tell you? Oh, I'm really scared of this thing. I'm really scared they're going to hurt me. I'm really scared they're going to cheat on me. I'm really scared that they're going to turn out to be like everybody else in the past. And when you have a conversation with your pain, with your fear, with all of the things that really scare you, you're able to build a trusting relationship with them because you say, I hear you. I know you're scared I'm going to get betrayed, but here's what I'm going to tell you. If this person shows me any sign of betrayal, I'm going to walk away. If this person cheats on me, I'm going to do the right thing for myself. Yes, it's still going to hurt, and thank you for trying to protect me from that pain. But there is no way for me to be able to build a healthy connection with someone without letting them close enough to hurt me as well. The path towards love and heartbreak are the same ones. It's the path of vulnerability and connection. If you tell yourself, I'm going to find love, but without letting people close enough to me to hurt me, that's not love. You let a person close enough to you to love you and to hurt you. If they choose to hurt you, that's not a person who deserves your love. The story ends there. I'm not saying don't forgive the little things in relationships. I'm talking about the big things, the big betrayals, the things that you can't overlook. The person who gets close enough to you to be able to hurt you, when they do hurt you, because that's the nature of life, when they hurt you in little ways, like they overlook you, maybe they're inconsiderate one time, maybe they had so much on their plate that they genuinely didn't pay attention to the way that you would feel. A person who loves you and you've allowed close enough to hurt you, when they do hurt you, it's not in the big ways that hurt your existence as a human being. It's not in the big ways that hurt your dignity. It's not in the big ways that hurt your self-respect. But when they do hurt you in the little ways, they apologize. Not always through words. A lot of the times it's through action. They might not tell you I'm sorry, but you will feel their remorse and you will feel them trying to make things better. How do you know that you can trust someone? If you are trying right now to really allow love in and you're like, I don't know what to look for. We feel connection with people when we open up to them because we're vulnerable. We shared a piece of ourselves that's so sacred that we've kept hidden for so long, that now I'm sharing this with you and you're receiving it. And so now I feel connection with you, right? And so we think, if I can feel that connection with you, if I was able to open up to you and you listened to me and you responded in a loving and caring way, then that means that I can trust you. But that's not the moment you know you can trust someone, because you're so overflooded with the beautiful feeling of connection. It feels great to tell someone something that's so like close and intimate to you. You feel that closeness with them. It's what comes after you were vulnerable with someone that shows you whether you can trust them or not. Listen to that again. It's not in the moments that we are vulnerable with someone that we know we can trust them. It's what happens after that vulnerability. How many times in your life did you open up to someone and that was the last time you felt a great moment with them? Because they were too scared, or they pulled away, or they made you feel instantly after like, this is too much for me. I know you can relate to this. But you thought in that moment when you opened up to them, I can trust you. They don't show you that you can trust them just by accepting what you have to say that's vulnerable. It's what they do after. Do they make you feel like they are so grateful that you trusted them enough to share that really intimate thing with them? Or do they pull their energy away from you and make you feel like maybe you shared too much? That's a sign that that's not a person that you can trust to this level or this intensity at this point. And it doesn't mean that it's your fault because you trusted them too soon. It could just be a sign that this is not a person that walks at the same speed that you do. Because you're not just going to meet somebody and instantly open up to them about your innermost thoughts and feelings. You obviously thought this was the right moment, but they didn't. So there's a clash there. That invites conversation. Many people, once we open up to them, they think, oh, now I fully see you for who you are. You're not a mystery anymore. I'm going to leave because I need mystery. I need games. I need to feel like I'm chasing after you. People who only want the chase will stop chasing you after you feel safe enough to be in the same space as them. People who are addicted to the chase, visualize if you're watching me on YouTube right now. You know, you're walking or running and they're chasing after you. Please give us a chance, or this is the future I visualize with you, or sit with me, date me, whatever. And once you actually stop moving away from them and you say, okay, let's do this, all of a sudden they have nothing to chase after. So they're kind of forced to stay in that same space as you. And many people don't feel safety in one place. They need to be achieving something. They need to be breaking someone's walls down. They need to feel accomplished by making somebody who they think they don't deserve, who's too far out of their league or too far out of their reach, to actually look at them and say, okay, I'll give you a chance. Those are people who aren't safe for you. And you know and feel that they're not safe for you when you're conscious and when you sense that, oh, the moment I actually decided that I will allow you close enough to me and I'm not going to constantly be moving away from you, you pulled away. You made me feel like I was too much when this whole time you were trying to make me feel like I'm the perfect thing for you. Words that found me. Now, these words don't have an author. I looked everywhere for it, but they're so profound. We don't fear intimacy. We fear being wounded again. We don't fear intimacy. We fear being wounded again. What is that fear of being wounded trying to protect you from? It's trying to protect you from the awful time you had the last time someone hurt you. The fear of being wounded is trying to protect you from the sadness, the depression that you went through the last time someone turned their back on you when you needed them most. The fear of being wounded is trying to protect you from all the things you thought were true about yourself. I'm getting emotional. All the bad things, like you don't deserve love. You don't deserve someone staying. You don't deserve people actually treating you like you're an important part of their life. Your fear of being wounded is trying to protect you from those fears telling you, see, we're real. You can't be safe without carrying us with you everywhere you go. We have to protect you from everybody hurting you. So you walk around in the world because you're trying to protect yourself from being wounded again. You walk around with a shield and an armor and an umbrella and a little briefcase that has all the signs and red flags of the things that people can do to hurt you. You're constantly in problem-solving mode. You're constantly on edge. Who's going to hurt me next and how? They looked at me weird. They said that word. They this, they that, because you're walking in protection mode. You want, like the scary thing is that beneath all of that armor is this little kid that really wants to be loved. It's this little human that wants to feel seen for who they are, that wants to feel important and prioritized. But your fear has taught you over the years, it hurts way too much to allow ourselves to be seen, so it's better that we close ourselves off altogether. The only way for you to allow that little human inside of you to feel loved is to let people close enough through your conscious awareness, through paying attention. It's kind of like someone's auditioning for the position in your life of being the love of your life. What are the things you look for? What are the things you don't want? You pay attention. And when someone shows you that they are not worthy of you allowing them into your life, to that close of a space, you let them go. When someone works hard enough to show you that they are exactly who you deserve in your life, and then they turn out to be the complete opposite person in a split second, you allow yourself some grace that says, it's not my fault that they chose to change. I don't judge myself for letting them close enough to me. But I'm also not stuck with them just because I allowed them to be this close to me. I can start taking steps away from them. Life is not so black and white where the moment you realize somebody who you've been with for 10 years or 20 years or 30 years or however long, you let them close enough and you say, but I'm stuck with them. I've been with them for so long. I don't know how to live without them, even though they just hurt me in this really deep way. Life isn't so black and white that you're just able to shut the door on them and pretend like they never existed. You're a human being. This brings me to words from me to you. And these words are from The Only Constant. I know I've been reading quite a bit from The Only Constant, but I honestly feel like so many of you haven't discovered the beauty of this book because I didn't talk about it enough. So there's so many things, especially about healing your nervous system and understanding that it's not just your mind that makes choices, your body also makes choices. So sometimes you know to allow somebody in because that's the only way for you to actually build real connections, but your body says, no, we're not doing that. So you judge yourself for not doing with your body what your mind knows is the right thing to do. I talk a lot about that in The Only Constant. So this is from page 16 in The Only Constant. You need to honor the choices that your body makes. Don't look at what feels safe for your body with judgment and shame. It's not that you aren't willing to do what your mind knows is best for you. It's that your body still hasn't internalized that what it's living through is actually not safe. It's familiar, but it's not safe. It's not easy for your body to differentiate between familiarity and safety. But the first step toward giving your body that choice is to listen to it. And the reason I wanted to read this to you is if you have learned to equate love with danger, that's a familiar pattern. That's a familiar belief. You begin to feel safe keeping people at a distance from you. Because the moment they start getting close, your body says, alarms, flashes, stop, stop, stop. They're getting too close. Because the closeness is so unfamiliar to you, because you've lived in survival mode for so long, saying, this is the way to protect myself. There's like this bubble around me that nobody can come through to be close enough to me. So vulnerability, we're not doing that. Opening up, we're not doing that. Trusting someone, we're not doing that. Allowing somebody to see us break or to see us in pain or to see us at our worst moments, we're not doing that. Why? Because that feels unsafe. What feels safe is protecting ourselves from the possibility that somebody could get close enough to hurt us. It's a familiar thing. Keep people away from you. Don't try. Always be on edge and look for signs that people are going to betray you. That's the best way to protect yourself. That's what that familiarity is telling you. That feels safe. Not safe in a way that feels amazing and you can be yourself. No. In the I'm going to protect myself kind of safe. Remember, there's two types of safety that I always refer to. There's a type of safety that's like, I'm going to keep myself protected. I'm going to keep myself small. Like you're putting your arms over your chest and you're holding yourself together and you're a really small, tiny person. Just please don't hurt me. And there's a kind of safety that's like, I can be myself as I am and I feel great and I feel welcome and I feel safe. The kind of safety that currently feels familiar to you is the one that says, just people are okay being away from me. The moment they get close, I feel danger and I don't want that, so stay away from me. That feels safe. So when your body thinks that, but your mind says, like, I read this book and I've been reading these articles and I've been listening to these podcasts and I'm fully aware there's no way for me to find love without letting people close enough to me. Why am I not able to do that? Your body has a choice too. And the choice your body's making is to keep everybody at a distance. So when you sit with it and you listen to what's scaring you so much of letting people close enough to you, then it can tell you. Then you can have a conversation with it. Then you can tell it, I promise you, the moment somebody shows me that they don't deserve that I let them in any closer, I'm not going to let them in any closer. So you start aligning what you know up here in your mind with what your body's telling you and with what your body's scared of. You need to catch up your body to your mind and let them align together. I hope that this episode has brought you some clarity when it comes to how to get your nervous system to start allowing love in and not seeing it as danger. And if you have any more questions about it, because this is such a deep topic, please leave them for me wherever you're listening to the podcast. And please leave a rating and a review. Share it with somebody who you think would love to listen to this or would learn something from this. I hope that this episode brought you healing beyond words. And until next time, have a lovely day.